Well, good day! For today's video, I would like to talk about the first cartoon appearance of that big, bad, yellow speedster. That's right, I'm talking about Reverse Flash! So yeah! Alright, let's go!
Okay, so we start off with Batman and the Outsiders fighting against the Cobra cult. And no, not the G.I. Joe Cobras, no. And man, oh man, this is gonna be a great fight. Oh, what? Oh, we're ignoring this part of the story? Okay, yeah, sure, because who'd want to see that, right? Elsewhere. We flash back to 2 years ago where Barry Allen, aka The Flash, and Batman are making a pretty awesome super duo team. Take that, Robin. They're beating villains left, right, and center, and man, I can't wait to see more adventures of the— oh, what? Flash is dead? Oh my god. Jeez. Oh man, this episode is beating the crap out of me. Meanwhile, in Central City, present day, now that the Flash is gone, all of his major villains are taking over Capital City, Flash's hometown. So, the Weather Wizard, Captain Cold, and Heatwave are robbing a bank, and Batman completely fails to stop these guys. They make pretty quick work of him, and man, this trio of villains are actually pretty disappointed in Batman. They're even reminiscing about the Flash now, like, oh man, if we were fighting the Flash, he would beat us up like this and like that. Oh geez, memories. The Flash shows up and starts beating the crap out of these guys. But not any Flash, no. I'm talking the original Golden Age Flash. And Kid Flash shows up too. It's a Flash Fest. And together, they defeat these villains pretty lickety-split, and they even save Batman. That doesn't happen too often. Nonetheless, Kid Flash is being a real jerk to Golden Age Flash, and Batman is like, what the hell's going on with that? So Flash gives him the 411. You see? While the Flash, and Kid Flash were chasing the Reverse Flash, they were going so fast that they opened up a portal. They were all stuck in there, so Barry sacrificed himself to save the other two, and Kid Flash blames Original Flash for it. They're just both having survivor's guilt, kind of dealing with this. And one of the ways that they deal with it is that they see Barry Allen's ghost, like, all the time. Batman figured they're totally crazy until he's seen the ghost as well. He tracked the ghost's Renaissance wave, and together the three of them used the cosmic treadmill to trace said resonance wave, which brought them to the 25th century. Just so happens to be the Reverse Flash's century, where Reverse Flash is known as Lord Zoom, and he rules the land with an iron speedy fist. So our heroes get arrested by Zoom's police force called the Speed Force. Guess they all have speed powers somehow, and are taken to go see Lord Zoom, where it is shown that Reverse Flash has Barry Allen in a trap. He's basically running on this, I don't know what you want to call it, like a cosmic hamster wheel, I guess. He can't slow down off of it, he can't get off of it, man, he's just stuck running and running and running. Oh yeah, sorry, forgot to mention to you, Barry's not actually dead. If you didn't figure that out. And I guess, long story short, this fancy hamster wheel is basically siphoning Flash's speed and transferring it to anybody else who is wearing these fancy armbands, like the police force. So, you know that Batman's gonna get his hands on some of these speed bracelets, which he does. And while he's getting his butt handed to him by Reverse Flash, the other two Flashes try to help Barry. They speed up to a point where they create a dimensional rift, which Barry jumps through so he can escape. And now that he's free, he goes back to Zoom's palace, where finally we get to see The Flash versus Reverse Flash in cartoon form, which is a pretty good run around the world kind of fight, and Barry wins in the end because he trips Reverse Flash, which doesn't really seem like much, but man, if you're going at super speeds and you trip, the ground is gonna beat the crap out of you pretty good, which is exactly what happened. So Reverse Flash is defeated. His speed police force is decimated. He can no longer rule over the populace. And our 5 heroes make it back to present time, so things are all hip. Yeah. And with that, But that is the end of this fantastic tale.
So yeah, that was a pretty good episode, eh? Like, man, it was just jam-packed with story. Like, there really wasn't much room for shenanigans going on there. Well, other than that whole teaser fight, against the Cobra cult, I was really invested in that. But the Reverse Flash storyline was worth that story being destroyed. 'Tis indeed quite wonderful to see a different side of Batman, He's usually that calm, collected kind of character who has the answer to every single question, and he got his butt handed to him quite a few times in this episode. He couldn't handle any of the Flash's villains at the bank, and he could absolutely not handle Reverse Flash, even though he had temporary speed powers. So to see Batman struggle, it's something you don't really see a whole lot. And it really kind of goes to show how superheroes are really attuned to their own supervillains, right? Batman can clock any of his kind of rogues gallery any day of the week, but against Flash's villains? Different story. And speaking of Flash villains, man, like Reverse Flash, jeez, man, this guy was pretty badass in this episode. Like his plan to lure Barry into the future and then trap him, man. Like, oh my god, he freaking won. And Flash was on that hamster wheel for years, right? Like, oh man. At least I think it was years. Like, it's been a while. They actually built a statue to him, so it must have taken some time, So usually in superhero stories, you'll see the villain go to jail, they'll stay in jail for a while, then they'll escape and do their villainy things again. This time it was the reverse of it all, I guess. The hero was the one that got caught, and the hero was the one who had to kind of break free and do his thing, So like I say, man, pretty awesome episode. Nothing really silly or zany or out of place, so I can't really pick it apart and try to make fun of it, because it's actually written pretty well. So if you haven't seen it, for sure check it out, especially if you're a fan of The Flash. Sure, it's a Batman titled show, but this episode is very Flash-centric, so yeah, man, do it up! And now let's take a quick little trip to see what we can find in a bit Reverse Flash and all that stuff over here.
So yes, indeed, Reverse Flash, aka Eobard Thawne, aka Professor Zoom, and yes, he is from the 25th century, the Flash of the future. A man who was so obsessed with Barry Allen till he decided to, hate Barry Allen and try to destroy his life. Yay! Reverse Flash first debuted in The Flash, number 139 in 1963. And man, oh man, 1963! It took them 47 years to finally get Reverse Flash featured in a cartoon episode. Like, that's crazy! Considering that he is one of the, if not the, arch nemesis of the Flash, you'd think he would have been featured sooner. But sadly, nay. But we did get a bunch of villainous Speedster copycats. In the original 1960s Flash cartoon show, Flash and Kid Flash went up against an alien called Blue Bolt. And it was a great episode. It was awesome to see them fight a Speedster villain, but it just wasn't the same, right? Flash forward to the 1990s with that original live-action Flash TV show, and that Flash went up against a clone of himself called Pollux. And man, I freaking loved that episode. It was great, everything about it, but wasn't the same if he was going up against actual Reverse Flash. Speaking of that 90s Flash show and Reverse Flash, one of the best things about this episode is that Reverse Flash is voiced by none other than John Wesley Shipp. And if you're thinking, who the heck is he? Man, he was the actor who portrayed Barry Allen, aka The Flash, in that show. Not only that, but he also portrayed Flash's father in the CW Flash show from 2014. Even better than that, he also portrayed the Golden Age Flash in that same CW Flash show, which is an awesome thing. Back to the main story. So I know what you're thinking, but that's Zuba. We've already seen Reverse Flash make his cartoon appearance debut in that Justice League Unlimited episode. But in that episode, man, it was not the Reverse Flash. It was a cameo appearance of a robot that was created by Brainiac to fight the Flash that just happened to be wearing a Reverse Flash uniform. So I hate to say it, but that does not count as the Reverse Flash. 'Twas just a robot.
No Professor Zoom is he. Ugh.
But it's good that we finally got to see Reverse Flash in this cartoon, because it's kind of opened up the floodgates in a way. So we did get a live action debut of Reverse Flash in that CW Flash TV show.
You know, part of the Arrowverse?
Starting in 2014. And he looks pretty badass in that one too. So that's the main introduced character of this episode, but there were other characters who made their cartoon debut in this episode as well.
They are part of the Outsiders.
So the Outsiders were in the series earlier, most of the characters were shown already, but we did get 2 new characters. Firstly, we have Geo-Force, who is not as well known of a character, he's kind of here and there. But at the end of the day, you know, it's pretty good to see a bunch of DC characters get some kind of love outside of the comic books, right? And speaking of the comic books, Geo-Force first appeared in The Brave and the Bold number 200 in 1983. Also for their first cartoon appearance was Halo. She as well first appeared in Brave and Bold number 200. Actually the Outsiders themselves first appeared in Brave and the Bold number 200. So that was a pretty big comic issue, I guess, eh? But yeah, it only took basically half a century to finally see Reverse Flash on television, and we will continue to see more of him, yeah. Maybe not Geo-Force though, but yeah. So with this, that, those, and the other things, I guess that's that. Also, if you guys are interested, I created my own superhero show, and I have the first episode out already.
The Adventures of the Density.
So if you guys would like to check it out, I'll have a link above here and a link at the end of the video for you to peruse there. Yeah, right on, and there you go. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it as much as I did making it. Also, feel free to check out the source material that I featured in this video. And if you want to leave a comment on anything you may have liked or things I might have missed in this, you know, feel free to do so. Or anything else, you know, just to say hi. That's cool too. And other than that, you know, have a great day. Thanks.